How to add movement to your Tech-House Basslines. What's up, ninjas? Alright guys, so I'm currently in the Philippines because my wife's father passed away in April and his last wish was to be brought back to the motherland where he grew up. So that's why we are here, and hopefully you see this nice drone shot that I took, because I did get a drone because we're coming here. We're also taking this as a chance to go on vacation, guys, but my wife's off doing stuff right now, probably with a Filipino man. But since I'm bored, I asked some of you guys to leave me some tutorial suggestions, and I got this one from Karma Policia, which states how to add movement / bend / groove / manipulation to a bassline or sub bass for techno / house, kind of like those basslines that move up and down and side to side, and you're not sure what the heck they're doing. All you know, it's hypnotizing. Well, Karma Policia, I'm gonna do your tutorial today. So if I answer that question that you just gave me in simplicity, it's gonna be that you're gonna be adding mono legato to your sub bass line. And when you're playing those notes, what you really wanna do is, let's say you're in the key of D, that's the root note, that's the power of the sub. You wanna have the MIDI notes overlapping. So you're gonna have one at D1, MIDI note overlapping up to D2, and then that's gonna create this sort of legato that's like, what? Now, when you have mono legato sorted, the portamento is going to control the speed of that boa, and that's where the magic happens. That's where that hypnotizing effect happens. To get those settings right. Now, of course, you have to have a good sounding sub, but it's so simple to make a sub now these days, especially with silent. Just put a sine wave if you want a boomy sub, or you put a triangle wave if you want a very nasty sub. Today, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do that in Ableton, since my wife is out with another phone. Got the new Razer Blade on deck for this, guys, so hopefully you guys enjoy that tutorial. We're going to be doing in silent 1. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so here we are inside of Ableton. Now I know my audio sucks, okay? So don't comment about it, because you're just beating a dead horse at this moment, because I already know it sucks. Okay, we're in the Philippines, man. I forgot to bring a mic. I didn't know I was going to be making videos. So the first step is to just relax, because we're about to teach you guys how to get more movement to your sub, alright? So the first step is obviously knowing how to learn how to make a sub. I feel like anybody should learn how to do it, even if you're not a big sound design person, alright? Now, the sub usually is going to be played by a sine wave, which is the most popular one. It's very boomy. The pros of this is going to be that if you go with a sine, it's going to be at its strongest around G. But when you go below G, you start to lose a lot of power, especially if you're hearing on monitors and not headphones, okay? Now, if you go to the triangle wave, the pros of it is that you can actually hear it a lot better in lower keys than the sine wave. The only problem is that it's not as subby. It's a little bit more a distorted version of the sine. And it's not as clean as the sub. It's not going to be that boomy. It's good for genres like G-House, Tech-House, where you're using very relatively low keys, or you just want a sub that has more body to it rather than that boominess. Now, if we keep going, we can use the square and the saw. Now, the square is the only one I'm going to talk about here because the square is the strongest sub that you can get. Now, you may be going, Sam, that's not a sub, that's a fucking bass. Yeah, it's not, but when you get rid of those upper harmonics on it and you just use the low end of it, it's one of the strongest things that you can get, okay? So just keep that in mind as you decide how to go with the sub. Now, in order to add movement to the sub, what we're going to do here is pretty simple, guys. Here we have the standard sub. Okay, so it's just hitting normally, okay? Now, in order to add movement like the pros, which is what the question of that guy was, it's pretty simple. What you have to do is just overlap the MIDI notes like so. And you get something that sounds like future bounce, of course, but as you can see, it definitely adds movement. Now, the key thing here is that we're not done yet. We're going to add a bit of programming, and this is where this tip that I'm talking about in the title of this video, the clickbait, comes from. So, on the bottom right of any synth, like Serum and Silence, we're going to have this thing called mono legato. It just means that you can't play more than one note with the sound you have. So it's good for moments like this where you have bass notes overlapping, as well as leads that are very mono-driven, that are very distorted. When they overlap, they sound like crap. So you'd want to avoid that. You use mono legato to add a bit of like any stuff like that. That's where you're going to add it. Now, the key here is that we want to use it at a very high value where it doesn't give us the end result. So it doesn't give us that do, but more like do, like we don't get it. So if we use it at a very high value, it gets more lazy. So it takes longer for the change to occur from D0 to D1. And you can see the movement it adds already. It's just simple. It's that simple, guys. So if I want to, I can even add this on every single hit. And this is a technique that a lot of techno producers use, especially when the bass hits with the kick. Dong, 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 dong. So you can add this MIDI here anywhere you want, even here, for instance. And the cool thing about adding it here is that you create something like a rolling bass, but the thing is, it's not legitimately a rolling bass. It's a legato rolling fucking bass. So here, if we lower the legato, you'll hear. Let's distort it a bit so it sounds more like an Oliver Heldens track. Now I understand that doesn't sound the greatest, but it definitely gives movement to the sub. So when you see a lot of people doing that, that's how they do it. Now let's get into some cooler tips that we can get into now that we know how to do this. The first one is we know that the D has relatively harmonic notes to it, the notes it needs to create a chord in the major or minor scale. In the minor scale, those notes are going to be the F and the A. So if I want, I can overlap certain notes like this that are harmonic to it. So if we go to the F, and then we do one that's A, over here, and then we go back down to, let's say, the F, it sounds something very cool because they're harmonic to it. And again, high portamento. And it's about just finding the right time with it. Do you want it to hit the note? Do you not want it to? Do you want it to just get that little movement or not? So that's how we add movement to stuff, guys. And now when we just start to distort that bass, we can add that movement in any way we want. And of course, it's just being smart about it. The most basic one I see in Future Bounce and in Tech-House is going to be that up an octave one. So that's just going to be as simple as putting that D1 here on top of that D0, D on D, all night long, if you know what I'm saying. So that's how you're going to add movement. I understand it doesn't sound the best here unless it's assigned. Of course, that's usually how it is, but you can definitely use this technique just to add that movement, and that's how they do it, guys. You can do it also where you generally have like a very catchy movement to it, of course, like D to A0 here, just very standard, and have, again, that high legato time. So you still get that melody, that catchy bass line like Fisher has, but it's a little bit lazier. What that means is a higher portamento time to it. So here, let's just add this and go up an octave and then maybe F here. So there's various ways to do it, guys, and it's going to sound better even with a better idea coming from you guys that you've worked on. Here I am just sitting here doing this in 5 minutes, but that's how you get more movement on your sub. That's the only way to do it. There's no other way to do it unless you do volume automation with the sidechain or distortion automation and stuff to add movement. But whenever you hear a track having movement on the sub like this, where you can't really tell what it's doing, but it sounds like it's moving, most likely they're doing this little trick with the portamento, pitch bend, and now you know how to do it. Anyways, guys, I'm here in the Philippines. I'm going to end the video here, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit like, comment down tutorial suggestions that you would like to see, and I'll see you guys next time that I can make a video for you guys. You guys take care. Peace out.